Welcome back. I'm Jen and I'm in Zone 7. I love to watch other people's gardens progress throughout the season, so I figured I would share mine. Today we're going to plant my romaine lettuce that I started from seed and then take a look at everything that's in my main vegetable garden, as well as what's in my arch there behind me. First of all, I have to start by taking off all of my little fence pieces. I have critters that like to dig in here, and I'm dealing with a pesky groundhog, so I gotta keep this stuff safe. Starting off in this first section, I have bunching onions left over from last year. I also put seeds in there, but I don't see anything popping up yet. Then I have a weed I'm getting out of there. This is my crisp head lettuce. This should form an actual head of lettuce. Then here I have some radishes. These ones are the crimson giant radishes. I planted like 3 or 4 in each hole, so I need to come through and thin those out when they get a little bit bigger. On this side, I have some more bunching onions. Same deal. There's some that were left over from last year and some seeds. I have a broccoli here that was left over from the winter, so I'm just leaving it there to see what happens. Now here I have 3 spinaches. I have another spot with more. This is some garlic that I put in last fall. Then now here I have some bok choy. Same thing, I put like 2 or 3 seeds in each hole here, so I'm going to give them another week or so and then thin those out as well. In the back here, I have more spinach. The old leaves aren't looking so hot, but at least the new growth is looking good, so I might come in and trim off the old leaves. Then in the last corner here, I have some cherry bell radishes. I also need to come in and thin those out in like another week or so. I use a square foot gardening method, so everything in this bed is planted really densely to try to pack in as many plants as I can in a small space. This second bed here is my favorite. I just think it looks so pretty right now. I have lettuces tucked in between these cabbages. These are just different kinds of salad bowl type lettuces. That basically means I'll be using them for their leaves, not the heads. Then I have these Napa cabbages that are gorgeous, and then I just had 2 regular cabbages there in the front. As I said in my last video, this pak choi is not what I expected, but I put 3 in there just to see what happens. Then I have my shelling peas. They're starting to pop up out of the ground now. They're on both sides of this little A-frame trellis. Then on either corner, I have broccoli. I still think I might need to thin out that middle one, but for now, they seem to be doing okay, so I'm going to leave them. This is the bed that I'm working on today. All of those cabbages are getting harvested, so I can plant this romaine lettuce. This cabbage made it over the winter. I planted it last fall and it made it through a couple snowstorms and it's still growing. We'll come back to that in a little bit though. In this bed I have some Swiss chard. It also made it over the winter and I trimmed it down and now it seems to be doing great. Now I have some red cabbage. It's looking great. I planted all this stuff from seed. Some of the leaves on it don't look the best, the outer leaves, but all the new growth looks good, so I think it'll be fine. And then on either side here, I have some Brussels sprouts. They seem to be really slow to get going, but they are still growing and they're doing well, so I'm going to leave them in there. Then this A-frame trellis has my snap peas, and they also are starting to poke through the ground. Last week in the video, you couldn't see any green, and now you're starting to see it. In the middle here, I don't have anything. I might either put some lettuce or just wait for my peppers for that. Now, over here to my arch, don't worry about that section right there. This is for all the vining things, but some of the stuff like the vining squashes and cucumbers aren't ready yet. So for now, I have shelling peas in this side, and you can start to see some green poking through for those too. Also, you can see a big hole that something dug in there. And then I have bok choy on the outsides of this bed. My thought is that the bok choy will be ready to harvest, and then I'll be able to put in cucumbers and things like that. Then that front little square bed didn't have anything. The one back here has turnips and leeks. The turnips still haven't sprouted up yet. My strawberry baskets seem to be doing good. I still need to go in and clean out the dead leaves and stuff, but since they're growing, I've just been leaving them. Then on this side, I have some cherry bell radishes. They're finally starting to sprout. I have a little weed there that needs picked. And then there's some snap peas, which are also just starting to sprout. I saw a few little green spots earlier. There's some massive hole in the middle of that one too that some critter got into. Now we're going back to my main vegetable garden to harvest this cabbage. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it since it's not like a compact ball head, but I'll chop it up and use it somehow. So I'm going to go down here and just kind of snap off what I can. And I think I'm going to keep this part and then probably just get rid of the rest of it. This bed also has a little bit of garlic and bunching onions. They all seem to be doing great, so I left those in there. Here's all 7 heads of cabbage I got from that garden. They look pretty good to me. I think I'll be making some lettuce dishes this week. Now, back to this garden bed. I'm going to go ahead and amend the soil like I did last week. I'm just going to add some more nutrients and stuff into the soil. I like to do this anytime I refresh my garden bed just to give it a little zhuzhing up. Now for this lettuce. I wanted to show you how I got it out of this tray, but I broke my tripod, so I'm going to attempt to put you here on the little fence post so you can watch me get it out of the tray and separate them. This is a leftover container I had, and I put some dirt in it, and then I just sprinkled the seeds on the top, and I was hoping that it would be kind of easy to separate it later. So now is later, so let's see how easy this is to actually separate. So far, it's not too bad. It came out in one big clump, but you can see it's got some nice, pretty white roots. So let's try to see if I can pull a chunk off here. I'm just going to start with grabbing one, and I kind of just wiggled it out because I don't want to break the roots. It was honestly pretty easy to get out of there. I did it here, and you can see there's 2 little weeds that were in my soil. I'm just going to take those out and toss them to the side because I don't want to get weeds in my garden. Then I have one here that's pretty big and one that's pretty small. I think I ended up not using that small one at all. I just did this until I had 37 little starts separated out. So I put some of the smaller ones in this garden. There's also some bunching onions and garlic around the perimeter there. And then I took the other ones and I put them over here on the perimeter of my arch. It's still a little cold to put the plants that grow up in the arch like cucumbers and squashes, but on the edges of it I like to have some lettuce. Because remember, I'm trying to pack as much as I can into this little section of my yard. I only had about a half an hour to work on this today, and I had some other stuff I had to do, so now I'm just going to pack up, clean everything up, and put my fences back together. I think either next weekend or the following weekend, it'll be warm enough here to put some of my other things in, like my fennel and my quinoa, and some of the stuff I've been babying in my greenhouse. It'll also be time to put in my petunias, which I'm excited for because they're all blooming and they need to go in the ground. Also, I have 2 sections behind that older fence there where my husband's standing that are flowers. One is more of a butterfly garden. One's more of like a cottage style, a little bit of everything I like garden. And tomorrow I plan on putting some dahlias in there. So if you want to see that part, come back tomorrow. Thank you for taking the time to watch me tinker around in my garden, and I hope you stick around for this season to see how everything grows and see what I'm growing. Also, let me know if there's anything you'd like me to go in more detail about, like how I harvest a particular plant, or how I plant it, or how I care for it, because I like learning stuff from other people, and if you got questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.